So let's take another quick look at the art of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, whichever you prefer. I went over this book last time, and I wanted to make sure I got through a couple of spots I kind of missed on the other one. So this Disney movie was directed by Kirk Wise and Gary Trousdale, a couple of guys I worked with briefly long time ago, and wanted to make sure that I acknowledged them as the directors and, I would guess, final decision makers on everything done in the film. And they are animators as well, worked their way up, and so all this artwork had to be looked at and okayed by them as far as making these drawings to produce this film. And there's just so much great artwork in here, and they did a film after this, and I have the book for that one as well. I don't know that I've gone over it before, but they directed this, Atlantis, The Lost Empire. So I remember going to the theater and seeing this one as well. Such a great movie, and didn't quite hit with the public, but lots of amazing artwork. Again, you see behind the scenes of what it takes to make an animated feature. A lot of talented people, a lot of hard work, great artwork. Look at this. Visual development by Jim Martin. This ship that they used actually has a garage inside. It's so big, and they have cranes that can move trucks up and down, supplies up and down. Just amazing stuff. Rough animation of one of the characters by Chris Wall, another guy that I knew briefly a long time ago. Visual development art by John Watkiss. I took a life drawing class, and he came in at one point for one session to teach us. Real talented guy. More concept art, visual development art. Now, the jumping off point for design for this film is artwork by Mike Mignola. So they hired him, and if you see these images here, you recognize his art from a comic book called Hellboy, which was turned into a movie, or 3. Look at this great artwork here. I'm going through this because I have other books to cover this episode, and I wanted to just give you a glance at some of this awesome work that was done for this film. I don't know if you've seen it or not. You should be able to see it somehow, get the DVD or stream it somewhere. All this work has to be planned out. All of this usually starts with someone writing something, and then someone doing small thumbnail drawings, and then enlarging them up to either animation paper size or bigger. So lots of incredible work for that. So that leads me into this book, Mike Mignola's Hellboy, The Art of Hellboy. And a great comic book of Hellboy that Mike Mignola made. Oh, there were some small thumbnails here. So he works very much high con. Not a lot of gray, just things are in light or they're in shadow. It's very striking images of Hellboy. Just amazing drawings. I remembered his name from back in the 80s, and he did some issues of a Marvel comic of a character called Rocket Raccoon. And when I was looking through my comic collection, I actually found I had 1 or 2 issues of that. And I was surprised to see his name on there. I didn't know that he had been in the industry that long. So look up his work. It's very inspiring. And you see why they hired him on Atlantis. And they had done that at Disney before. On Hercules, they hired Gerald Scarfe, and they used his design style for their movie Hercules. So Mike Mignola says, I've got a style, I've got a storyline, made his own comic books, which got picked up to make movies, made his statements, his work, and independent. Which leads me to this guy, Jeff Smith, creator of Bone, and this is the Art of Bone comics. Created his own characters, and Jeff was an animator. He loved Warner Brothers cartoons and an old comic strip called Pogo. And that's where his inspiration came from. I guess these are his comics that he drew as a child. And as he got older, he refined his drawing style and turned it into this comic called Bone, which I believe goes back to the 90s. I have this memory of buying Bone comics in the 90s. Great drawing style. Characters have such life. And his inking style is just wonderful. Harkens back to an earlier time when people used a brush and a pen to ink their comics. And he has a certain look and feel to his comics. So if you can latch onto some Bone comics, highly recommend it for some inspiration. Like I said, another independent guy that made his own way. You have an idea, you have characters that you like, you turn them into comic books, comic strips, or animation. Look at this stuff. Just really great artwork here. You can look up interviews with him on YouTube to hear him tell his story about how he got started, how he decided he was going to make his own comics. There's some figurines even. So keep in mind, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started out as independent comics, as did ElfQuest by Wendy Penny, and Ninja Turtles by Eastman and Laird. So, another great book. Jeff Smith, Mike Mignola, Gary Trousdale and Kirk Wise. And Gary Trousdale and Kirk Wise. So, keep drawing, keep writing your own stories. Get them out there. make your own film, make your own comic, and keep having fun.